The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackast. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of Jackass.
We're just three lifelong fans of the show, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, and broken bones.
Today we're going back to July 15th, 2001.
Ooh, energy, baby. Love it.
Dude, you know what?
Energy,
I have a whole new thing. I got a new shtick today. It's not a new shtick, but you know what? I'm sick of Sundays. Like I said, it's the Lord's Day. Not much happens on Sundays.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And I've been getting all these weird facts. So I actually subscribed to an old newspaper archive thing. So let's play. I gotta get. You guys give me shit.
Good
I'm
for
bringing
you.
the facts,
That's amazing.
right?
Yeah,
You know?
we're still gonna
So-
give you shit, but congratulations.
We're doing a little live game over here where I'm actually going to pull up some of the headlines from that day.
Oh, shit,
And just mention a quick little one. You know,
What's the
one
day?
that-
What day did this come out?
This,
July 15th of 2001.
All right.
Because there was literally nothing else that
all right.
happened. No one died important, no one anything. But there's some great headlines like Dumb and Dumber, Confessions of an Ex-Junketeer. Wonder what that's about. China boots American after Olympian effort. Luck lands in Lizzie's lap.
Lizzie McGuire.
Lizzie who?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Oh, I love where this
Just
is
reading
going.
headlines right now. You know what? I like this because
This
I
is
like
just the
pretending
shakeup
like
we
I
needed.
know.
Lizzie Grubman, you know? Yeah, good old Lizzie Grubman. But so far, Lizzie and her father, Alan, the car insurance in his name, had been sued for $65 million by just 3 victims. I have no other context to it, but those were our nice little headlines of the day. Those are the ones that caught my attention.
I like it. Honestly, Chris, I love this shtick.
wanna
Well
know-
done.
I want to know about the meth addiction and Jim Carrey. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, the
about.
Dumb and
Jim
Dumber.
Carrey's
That's what
meth
I was
addiction?
thinking too. Yeah, him and
That
Jeff
sounds
Daniels.
cool.
You know what? I tried to read that last night, and it literally made 0 sense. So it was a nice sounding headline, but that was about it. Anyways.
I did, before we move on, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up one of our listeners who had sent us an email to jackasspod@gmail.com. And it was basically a full-on review of Jackass the movie. First time
Joey Greco, I bet?
It was at not Joey Greco on
Joey.
Instagram. But he had sent this a while ago. The first time he said it, he mistyped our email address. The second time it went to our junk, so we just got it. But it was his review. In it, he mentioned that in the Viva La Bam days, like back when he was watching Viva La Bam, he found Don Vito's number and called him.
What?
I couldn't
No, don't do
believe
that.
that's the
Don't do
only
that. It's a
context he
trap.
gave me. That's definitely a trap, and you're probably on a watch list somewhere, Joey. But speaking of watch lists, thanks for putting us on yours.
Oh boy. Well, yeah, that about adds up, I'd say. Listen, Chris, I like the new segment. I like where things are going. Good improvements. But next time, could you please turn it into more of like a Nicolas Cage and National Treasure kind of deal where we have to put the pieces together?
Well, I was actually
maybe
going to say 3 and see which ones were actually the real ones. But, who knows? We'll see. If we have a good fun fact, we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll pull up a few
just
wacky headlines.
Full of ideas, Chris. I love it.
Was that motherfucker in National Treasure and the Da Vinci Code? He was, wasn't he?
Da Vinci
it's like the
Code.
same fucking movie, isn't it?
Nicolas Cage?
No, Tom
Yeah.
Hanks
Tom
was
Hanks.
in Da Vinci Code, but he did have the same hairstyle. So
All right.
I see what you're saying there.
Pretty much the
Oh,
same
dude,
guy.
Nicolas
Come
Cage
on.
in the 90s, man, was the coolest fucking human being alive. I don't care what
He certainly
anybody
was.
says. Best actor of all time.
You know what?
Keanu's
This
going
looks
to take
like
that personally.
Oh, fuck Keanu. Shit.
Yeah. Sorry, bud. If you're listening, Keanu, keep us on your watch list.
And
That's all I
also,
can say.
tell me how you stay looking so young, because I would love to know.
fucking the cure to immortality. That man has it for sure. Welcome to Jackass, by the way. This is season 3, episode 4. We're at the halfway point now. And what better way to kick off another episode of the show than with a Selfie Cam cum slide? Ooh, yeah, nice
Okay.
and creamy. That looks like
Because
fun.
my question, Jay, was
What?
what kind of slide is that? And I wrote down cum slide as well, and I definitely would
white.
know for sure if that was a cum slide. Experience tells. But okay, I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah, unless they're selling bottles of cum at Costco in bulk, like we'll see in a minute, it could be lube, but let's leave it up to the
Let's
imagination.
go pig cum, maybe.
Pig cum. They had some
Maybe
left
pig
over.
cum. I forgot about the pig cum.
With the
I
pig cum,
imagine
though,
pig
they
cum
go down
tastes
this-
like bacon.
It would have to taste like bacon.
It looks like it does.
Ooh.
I think like you go down the slide, if there's pig cum, you're getting stuck to the slide halfway through, right? Like it's not going to be a lubricant.
All right. Well, what I liked about this is that you get the intro. Johnny Knoxville says, "Welcome to Jackass," and it's the selfie cam down this slide into the lake. What I loved, though, is that immediately after the opening credits, they're just right back to where we opened the show.
Totally.
And it felt good. Like, everybody's out here having a good time. It's a sunny day. You've got the whole crew on order here. They're lubing up this slide. It's so slippery that, like, I think they overdid the pig cum a little bit because Dunn is, like, slipping around on the edge. He falls in the lake. Bam's laughing at him, but then he loses his balance right after Dunn falls in the fucking lake. Everybody's howling. Fucking love this. It's just basically a day out at the beach. Let's slide down the slide and fuck around. And it had a really good vibe to it. Good way to open the show.
Just get covered and come with the boys, you know? What better day can you ask for? A nice sunny day.
Plus, it was we're treated to another couple stunts of the ramp, the infamous loop that they did earlier. Was that season 1 or Jackass 1 the movie? I actually can't remember off the top of my head.
That's a good question.
Or season 2. But look, I'm glad we're back here and they keep getting use out of it. Clearly, they probably spent like half of MTV's budget at the time. But just dudes having fun. It was a great time.
Yeah.
I love this
Danger
one.
Aaron was fit in this. Did you notice that?
Danger
Aaron was
Aaron.
slim. He was like had a Speedo on. He looked like, you know, like you didn't see much of his face maybe, but everything else, he was looking pretty sexy.
He is another very good episode here. And I'm wondering if we're just now noticing how good he is, like not just as a character, but like just as a crew member. Like, you know, everyone says he stole the show in Jackass Forever, but like, was he secretly stealing the show in earlier episodes as well? Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, he definitely was. Is it because he got so much good content because they were always fucking picking on him? Like, there's another great example of picking on him in this show, in this as well.
Yes.
Towards the end, but it's just he's number one down for anything. He's got a really good attitude considering everything, and I think it's like, you know, he's starting to work his way into potentially my favorite Jackass guy.
Man, he's up there.
As we're going back and watching everything.
He's up there.
Yeah.
And
he's sporting the look now too. He's starting to come into his identity in terms of those pink Speedos that he wears.
Yeah.
So great.
You like see him in this episode and you're like, that's how I remember Danger
you see them a
Aaron,
couple times in this episode, eh?
You do. They make
and you
quite a
also
few
get the appearance of one of my most iconic, and I don't know if he shows up like this again, but I remember Garbage Man, Chris Pontius as Garbage Man so well.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you not, Chris?
Oh, I love it.
I actually wrote in my notes. It's funny. Is this the first time we've ever seen the character Garbage Man from Pontius, and do we ever see it again?
I don't.
No,
in my mind, he's so prevalent because I remember Garbage Man, but it may just be from this one. I do think.
You know why you remember it, Mikey?
Because
you were fucking jerking to it so hard as a kid. It's imprinted in your brain.
And
just
it
that
was,
little piece of garbage bag hanging off.
But
hanging
it wasn't
off his cock. Yeah.
It wasn't gay because you can't see his dick, so it's not gay. And I say that because there's a moment in this which reminds me of like this era of Jackass where anytime they're about to do something with two dudes, they have to clarify to the camera that they're like, this is going to be pretty gay, isn't it? Wink. It's as though to say like, we know what we're doing, but we're not gay. What I loved about Jackass Forever is they stop having that little footnote and they just do it because it's like, of course it's not. It's just nudity. Like, it's fine, guys. Don't worry. We don't care, Johnny, that your mom's going to judge you for it.
Yeah, I think Wild Boyz is when they really just like, you know what, we're so aggressive with this and it's so funny and this is literally the concept of our entire show. We don't even need to clarify anymore. That's when they kind of came in their own with that idea.
Totally.
The other one, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right though, Mikey, because Johnny even says to the camera, my mom is going to hate this piece.
Yes.
So yeah, there is that. They're all very panicked about it, which there's no need to be. It's like you said, it's just a fun day out at the beach getting covered in cum with the boys. There's nothing wrong with that, all right? But I love here that, like I said, you get the whole crew on offer. You've even got Wee Man and Preston doing the slide out here today. It's just great to see the crew together, and like there's not a frowny face in the fucking group. Everybody's just having a great
Preston's
time.
frowning. Preston looks very nervous to do. Isn't he? It's like, dude, you can't. I would be excited to do this. I would be like, this. You're not really gonna hurt yourself. Like, what's gonna happen? You're on a slip and slide. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But he looks again kind of miserable, and it's like, what the fuck, man? Lighten up. You're about to have the time of your life.
Mikey, you might be able to answer this question because you were talking about laws of gravity and all this weird science shit.
What?
In past episodes, 100%. Newton's falling dimensions and whatever.
Oh,
that
right.
shit
When
that
I
you're
talked
talking
about Newton's falling dimensions. Yes, I remember talking about Newton's falling dimensions.
How is it
could you forget
possible that Wee Man and Preston, since we're talking about Preston, literally had the exact same launch trajectory.
Dude,
it physically makes no sense to me.
In my mind, when I knew that they were both going, I was like, I would have loved to have paused before each of theirs and taken bets on who goes farther. And they go the exact same.
That it was like the same type of launch, the same speed, the same everything. And I just don't understand how that's possible.
I would have thought Preston would go faster and farther, to be honest.
100%. That's what I was thinking. Usually the bigger the guy on a slip and slide, the further they go. But
here's the thing. There's also more weight to shoot up into the air. So maybe the reason why the amount of air was the same was because you get Preston going faster, but he's got too much weight to carry a long distance. You got Wee Man going slower, but he's got less weight to carry. So that ends up being the same equation. And that's Newton's law of drop, whatever the fuck you said. I said that's the
physical drop reality, I think.
The physical drop reality, Newton's physical drop reality. Of the situation.
I liked it when Johnny Knoxville rode
Dude, he winded himself so bad. Oh, you're talking when Garbage Man and Johnny Knoxville went. That was good, but when Johnny Knoxville goes from the top ramp and jumps down and
that was cool too.
Clearly wins himself.
Dude, that would be so hard to drop in because everything in your mind is telling you don't jump too aggressively because the more you jump, the more it's going to hurt. But if you don't jump enough, you do exactly what Johnny and almost everybody else did, and they get caught up on the lip. If you really commit to that, it's going to be perfectly fine. But try telling your brain that.
Yes.
It's not a very easy situation.
I try telling your brain a lot of things, Chris, and it's fucking hard.
It always looks worse when you're standing up there, you know? But I think we got to keep the show rolling here, boys. Why don't we give this one a quick rating? Mikey, what did you think of Slip and Slide?
You know what? I had a good time with it. There was a decent amount of personality. What a fun way to start the show. And as we got into some of our ratings in the last few episodes, I think we were a little bit harsh on some of them because there weren't any like big ticket stunts. And I don't think every Jackass stunt needs to be a big ticket stunt, but it helps when there is something that's a little bit more significant because these ones can just kind of exist as they are and it doesn't try to be too much. And because of that, I'm giving it actually a 7.5 out of 10 because it was just an overall good time. Could it have been better? Maybe. I don't know how, but I don't think they were trying to be the best stunt of the show this time.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I'm giving the exact same score. It's a great day. It's a great day. I love these times when there's a whole bunch of them. Everyone's together. Their personalities are shining through. It doesn't need to be some crazy. I don't need to see them fly 30 feet in the air. I'll get bonus points for that.
And here comes Jay. He's like, I loved it as well. 3.5 out of 10. Jay, what are you giving this one?
God damn it. You took the words right out. No, I'm just kidding. I liked it just because it was fucking fun and it felt good to feel good. God damn it. But it doesn't deserve a 7.5. I'm sorry. I love you guys. But yeah, probably just a 6 for me. You know me. I'm a hard marker.
You are a hard marker, man. I'd be sad to be in your classroom of Newton's physical reality.
You're as hard of a marker as Mikey's dick in a playground.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. It's all true. I got to say, though, that on this next one, this is great, guys. Interstitials on Jackass can be hit or miss. They just really can. Because you only got a small window to fill, maybe 10, maybe 30 seconds. You got to come up with something good right out of the gate. This one doesn't do a lot. But Knoxville tying his shoes and putting his ass on people at the cafe, it's like a game of bum chicken. I love it.
My bum is on your face. My bum is on your face.
That's when as soon as Jay said that, I'm like, that sounds like a Tom Green reference. And there you go with the bum is on your lips. Yeah. And then he steals the umbrella. This was a weird one, but it had my curiosity piqued the entire time.
Well, what I loved about this is thinking about it from this perspective. He held it the absolute maximum length you can before someone's like, okay, something's going on here. And then just walks away. To this day, that guy probably has no idea he was on a TV show because they weren't going through getting people to sign shit off at these early days. No, a lot of them. A lot of the crowd work they did, they just realized they weren't that big. They weren't doing the sign-offs. They're just taking a gamble. If there was like a big stunt or something, but I'm sure a lot of the interstitials, they just worked it out. So this guy might, and even if he doesn't, Mikey, shut the fuck up. Let me have this. That this guy just, for the rest of his life, believed he got ass to face like fucking Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura for like 20 seconds, just long enough. And then the guy walked away and never said anything again.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
Yep, and it'll haunt him to this day. But you know what might haunt you to this day? Seeing another one of these in public stunts. It's a man in a body cast.
Yes.
Literally, they even cover his face, getting pushed around on a stretcher through, the streets, and just basically, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to fucking ram it into things, take it down the stairs. I got to ask, though, because I actually didn't see. I was writing down. Who's
It's
in
Dunn.
there?
Ryan Dunn.
It's Dunn?
I rewinded
All
like
right,
3
that's
times trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Guess the Jackass, win a prize. And down the steps in public. I mean, this is just like the Jackass formula, isn't it? Let's go into public, see what costume/mode of transportation we can ride down public sets of stairs in. It's a classic by this
And it's
point,
not the
by
last
season
time
3.
they ride downstairs on things that aren't supposed to be ridden downstairs in this episode. But this one was great because it was just kind of a return to the old CKY days. You got Bam, I think Deco was the other guy pushing, and Ryan Dunn in the full body cast. And they at one point when they're testing out the cast, they punch him in the nuts, and him as a helpless guy who's splayed out on a table, literally can't move. And he gets in your nuts. And the sound he makes is just he's resigned to the pain that's coming. He makes this like sensual grunt. He's like, and it honestly made me rock hard. Like, it was really sexy, the sound he made.
So you like punching your dick too?
I like punching my dick. That's go back a couple episodes for Chris's description of what he does for whatever reason, whenever he wants.
It's only when you're on a bender, it's like 5 a.m. and you can't get it up,
Fair.
You punch your dick.
You know what?
You gotta appreciate too the audio, because it's so muffled under the cast that every time he groans, there's just something funny about it. It sounds like it's coming from like the closet or something,
It's awesome.
Great.
This one was another one where I was just kind of like, they set up the premise and I'm like, oh, I could watch this for 5 minutes. I'm totally here for it. And I think that the unsung hero of this one, obviously Ryan Dunn is the one who's taking the licks, but Bam, his way of selling the accidents, and like even at the end when they're like, fuck, I'm done with this, and they just walk away and leave him in the streets like that.
Yeah.
Another really good way to like put a little bit of a button on this one instead of just fading to black. But I had a moment in this one where I realized how jaded I've become as a result of Jackass. At a certain point, they're rolling him down the street and the gurney starts to drift towards the road off the sidewalk, and there's cars coming. And in my mind, I said to myself, oh, now he's going to get hit by a car.
I had the same thought.
And then when he didn't, I was bummed out. I was like, how shitty of a person am I?
Let's not go that far. I mean, when I saw he didn't go into traffic, I was like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea. But
no, yes, eventually I thought that. But there was my instinct. You know how like when you catch yourself thinking something awful and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? And that was it. I was like, he's drifting. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, he's going to get hit by a car.
I see what you mean, though. I can sympathize because like it's Jackass. You kind of expect the most ridiculous thing to happen, right? And then it doesn't. You're like, oh, that's strange. Why didn't that happen?
Exactly.
I totally get it.
I'm surprised you guys like this. To me, this one was garbage.
Whoa.
Yeah, like
it was the stuff that's wrapped around Pontius's dick?
No, that's some good. That's cleanage.
Oh,
that's the worst joke I've ever made in my life. Wow. Garbage. Whatever.
I gotta say, Mikey, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it's such a great premise, but it's like they were impatient. They weren't like if they took some time to really hook people into the actual joke. Like, it's one thing just to, I guess you guys are looking at more, it's funny because he was helpless and he was just getting flung off it, but they set it up like it was supposed to be a prank on the people of the public, when it's just clear they weren't acting into it, and then they just started running around just hoisting him off shit. Like, no one's gonna believe that that's real, and
that's, I think, why they did this, because I noticed this as well. You got to remember, we're in Jackass season 3 right now, and these public stunts are like in Jackass season 1. This shit didn't happen when they were filming it. Now I think Jackass is starting to be more popular. So when someone sees something absurd, they're used to hidden camera shows. They know that it's not real. So I think they made a better choice not roping the people in and just doing it. And occasionally you get a good reaction, like the one guy who lifts Dunn up off of the road and puts him back in the gurney. And you get some good reactions that way. But I think if they focus too heavily on the reactions, it actually would have been a detriment to this one.
I don't.
Okay, well, that's why we differ, and that's why we have two people on the podcast.
I really don't. I just said my point. You just shut me down. You get mad that I shut you down. Fuck off.
You know what I would love about sports broadcasts is when one person says, "Oh, I think that LeBron James had a great game today," and Charles Barkley says, "No."
That's what you just did to me.
No, I had reasoning. I went on.
I already gave my reasoning, and then you just ignored it, and then all of a sudden, whatever. I don't even need to argue with you. You got a fucking mustache. Whatever.
All right, boys.
Actually, I'm Luigi.
I gotta play mediator. I gotta play mediator
sorry,
here. Listen, I think whatever our opinions are, we can all agree that it's no Vince McMahon getting hit in the head with a bedpan by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That was the best.
But Chris, why don't you give it a rating anyways?
I'm going to 4 out of 10.
All right, that is acceptable.
Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of right there with you on that one. I did enjoy it. Not a 4, but it's not as high as I thought it would be. I'm gonna go for a 5.5 on this one. I think it was lacking a little bit of activity and growth, like leveling up. You know, I like a good stunt that starts low and ends high. So I'm giving this one what did I say? 5.5. I'm going with a 5.5.
Well, as much as I did enjoy some of the minor bits, like, you know, the audio cues.
Jay, you're not allowed to say you enjoy Miner's bits anymore. Yeah. How often do we have to say this?
I did not say
Obviously,
that.
Mikey would pick up on that joke.
Don't rewind this podcast. I did not say that. I'm going to join the Foreskin Club with Chris and give it a 4 out of 10 because, like I said, while I like the audio stuff, there was some good gags. I think Chris is actually right. It probably could have used a little bit of a boost in some areas. But hey, a good concept.
You hear
I
that,
like
Mikey?
that they fucking got all the props out.
Yeah,
the
Chris,
guy
hey,
up,
congratulations. You scored the same as the guy who notoriously goes low on everything.
That's not really an accomplishment. Even I can agree with that. But listen, we got to keep rolling here because I'm ready, if you're ready, to see more Aaron in the pink Speedo.
Yeah, man.
Who isn't? He's going to be jumping down on a snowboard and hitting the mountain. So I guess they just had some footage left over from the last time they did this. But there you go. We get another one of those for the interstitial. And this next one, though, we're not done at the hill yet, boys. This one is the crapper sled with SteveO, a porta potty on skis. But where's the poo?
Dude, where is the substance in general in this one? What a great fucking idea. What a great idea.
I know. Yeah.
And they just, you know, pun intended, shit the bed on this one or shit the ski hill. Like, he just goes down. He goes down once. I don't even think he's making the sounds. I was going to ask you, Jay, his voice in this one, is that ADR or do you think that's his actual mic picking up his voice?
Yeah, I wonder too. I mean, they could have had a mic in there, lapelled or something, but that's the only way you would get it that clean. You know? So that's a good question.
And it felt like it didn't fit. It honestly just felt like he went in. The theme of this season so far has been SteveO underperforming. And I mean that literally in terms of him being in there and not performing as SteveO, not being his character self. But I also mean it in terms of his stunts being disappointing. And this is another disappointing stunt for SteveO.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I'm like, name something that goes together better than SteveO and a porta potty. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
honestly,
always the case. It's so legendary. So I'm hyped on that. What I did love is that he committed to it in the sense he literally had his pants down. So like maybe he was actually trying to shit or whatever the case was. Like if they panned in there and he had his pants up like snow pants or some shit, that would have pissed me off. What else could you really do? Maybe build a proper jump or something for him to really get some air. But I mean, we're forgetting the fact that he can't see where he's going. He's going down a hill and the audio never, or the video never picks up how steep hills actually are. So that could have been a lot more sketchy than it panned out on camera, but it still was a little lackluster and underwhelming.
Yeah, I think the way you make it better is like Jay said, where's the shit? There's no shit. Give me my shit. I want shit.
That's what everybody's asking. Yeah, everybody's been asking that question.
The world is asking. The world is asking two questions.
Yeah.
1, where's the shit? 2, who let Jay near my kids again? And those two questions are equally worth asking.
This Jay guy sounds like a real handful, whoever he is. Here's what I want to say about this stunt, is that I think we got to take it into context. Like you even mentioned earlier, Mikey, this is a spectacle type of thing that you wouldn't really see this on TV. And I think it's less about the where's the poo, unfortunately, and more their mindset was probably something along the lines of, hey, this is a good
that's
gag.
Enough.
This is something you wouldn't see on TV.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You want to get the hillbillies excited. Hey, Margaret, they got the old porta potty on the skis again. Come and see this. Get in here, Margaret.
Again?
Something like that. Again, it's a rerun,
I like the fact that these hillbillies, the hills have eyes, whatever they are. I'm not sure, mutants of some sort. Just sitting out there looking out their window, constantly seeing porta potties slide down their hill.
I love that porta potty on the skis, Margaret. That's something else. Now let's go have your beef casserole and fuck in the back porch.
Okay, so the hills have eyes peoples are still cooking beef casseroles and not like raccoon
Papa's
pies.
gonna give me some of that sweet moonshine poontang. You know what I mean?
That sounds pretty good, actually. These
like a
man, they
great
got
night.
beef casseroles. They got the entertainment of sliding porta potties. They got an active sex life and moonshine poontang. They are living the right life.
No, hillbillies are statistically the most, health conscious. Of us, as we know.
Exactly.
I gotta say though, we're probably not gonna rate this one.
No, I don't think
and
so.
We spent enough time on it. This next one though is definitely worth a little bit of a deep dive into. This is the Human Pinata. At first, I was trying to figure out what the fuck Johnny Knoxville is dressing up as. Yes, he is the aforementioned Human Pinata here. It's a big orange fluffy suit, so I thought he's a pumpkin, a Cheeto. Can we decide this right now before we move on?
He's a pumpkin, Jay. And in response to last week's episode, this is a Halloween costume. Not
Mikey,
two guys in a cow
July.
outfit.
It's July. Did someone hit you on the head?
This is more of a Halloween themed episode than the last
Oh
one.
my god, for sure. That's a
Did
good
a little
pull.
child with a baseball bat assault you? Because that's fucking what happens here. And there's a whole fucking gang of them. Like, these kids probably own the fucking playground. These mean little motherfuckers. There is a joke here that you cannot make on TV today, as Johnny Knoxville loads up his suit with candy and he grabs his nuts and says, "This is where the candy is," as we cut immediately to a shot of kids with baseball bats ready to go.
Dude, where do they find these kids? Like,
don't
where
know,
did they
man.
find them? Honestly, this has to be like a fucking foster care school or something. These kids are fucking badass as fuck. They're angry little
That's
bastards.
what I'm saying.
You know what's funny is you guys keep saying that. I think they kind of missed out because this is another one. I'm very critical of a Jackass stunt that doesn't have a good use of music because I think music can make most of them better. I think the sound effects work great once the kids start whacking because it's just SteveO being hung in his pumpkin outfit.
Once the kids start whacking.
Once
What's wrong with you?
kids start whacking.
Yeah, the truth comes out, doesn't it, Mike?
They start whacking and smacking. And that's great. The sound effects are great. But in the absence of music, I kind of wanted them to make the kids more vicious. Like paint that, like give them nicknames, make one like a villain of some sort. I just wanted the kids to be a bit more intimidating. And I know that they were laughing and having fun, and that's also appealing, but I thought it would have been really funny. Kind of like there's a movie I saw where there's this little kid who like keeps, I think it's like a Will Ferrell movie, and he keeps like kicking the shit out of one of the main characters, a little kid.
Yeah, that's Step Brothers when he puts his face in the white poo.
That's one of them. Yeah, there's another one where the kid gets to taser the main character of the movie. I think maybe 21 Jump Street actually, where the kid who's like snitches on them and then gets to tase them, and he's like, anyway, that's more of the tone that I wanted. Yeah. This was a great fucking idea, and the execution could have been a bit better, but I still thought it had enough, especially towards the end. Getting a shot of like 7 kids beating Johnny with baseball bats as he's on the ground in the fetal position, A+.
Yeah.
Dude,
and
that
I would
movie is
say, Mikey,
killing
I know that you of all people are not intimidated by kids whacking at your crotch and nuts and stuff. But,
Been there, done
'cause,
that.
Hey, baby, if you want to play ping pong, I'll play ping pong with you, baby. You send that ball back whenever you're ready. I'm waiting. But listen, I gotta say real quick about this thing.
It's from The Hangover. Sorry, the movie's from The Hangover, and the kid tases Zach Galifianakis.
Oh yeah,
That's what it was. He walks by, he
Yeah.
sees him. Yeah,
Yes.
that was killing me. Thank you so much. I couldn't concentrate on anything until we got that past me. That one little, it was a little fucking fat ginger kid
Yes,
too, eh?
exactly,
And he just gives him that eye, and he's like, "What's
I
wrong
knew
with this
I knew I
kid?"
had to say it.
Bradley Cooper was like so jacked up. He was like staring at the kid
Yes.
too. Yeah.
I knew I had to say it because I saw Chris. You tuned the fuck out, and we're just looking down at your phone.
I was just trying to think.
man.
Yes, thank you. Great movie.
Mikey with the save. I gotta say, you mentioned in the last one with the porta potty, the sound effects, or like at least the sound treatment here. Did you guys notice that like when the kids whack at the sack, those like the sound of impact, like those are, I don't know what's going on here, but those kids are all fucking future Sammy Sosas or something. That's some shit right
Jackass does that all the time, where they add sound effects to make it way worse and or sound way worse, and all the better
I
to
love
it. No, so do I, because Chris, as you mentioned, a lot of the times the camera and the microphones won't pick up the actual pain. Like think about the from a couple episodes ago where Johnny Knoxville's getting checked. Like they absolutely had to add more of a crunch to it because it would give the feeling that just seeing it doesn't give. And I think this does a good job as well. Granted, they were plastic bats and I guess they couldn't have gone wooden, but I can't imagine this actually hurt all that bad. Rick Kosick wasn't complaining when he got hit, so it couldn't have been that bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't even clue into that either, that they were using plastic bats, but that makes sense. That's a good safety precaution to take. And I think it would be safe at this point to give it a quick rating. I'm just going to jump in and say that Human Pinata for me, god damn, I'm a real asshole. 4.5 out of 10. It was fun, but nothing really, there was no big payoff. And like the strange thing about this episode is that although I'm having a good time watching it, nothing's really, I don't know, made me just want to jump up and down out of my chair and exclaim that this is the best fucking thing ever. It's not the eggnog challenge. Right. It's not the fucking, I don't know, anything good. Satan versus God is a good one that comes to mind. Like, not every stunt has to have a huge impact or like a huge wow factor to it. But this just felt like it was missing something extra, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but I also think that just because there were a couple lower scores in this one doesn't take away. I actually really loved this episode, and I think an episode with all 10s just doesn't exist. And I don't need everything to be a 10. I'm giving this one a 5.5. I think it could have done more with the premise, and I liked the just for that one shot of Johnny getting his ass kicked by a bunch of kids while he's in the fetal position. Otherwise, I was going to go like a 5 because I think they could have done so much more with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this shot reminds me of when you're on the golf course. You got some people playing slow in front of you, and you bring out the big dog, hammer it right into them, and a 4.
Oh, okay. You could have saved that for a golf one. I mean,
is that what they say? Oh, shit, I've been yelling 5 this whole time.
It just goes right through their 5-hole. You're like, nice.
I think I killed a couple people. Trip Taylor's here to take the lube slide down in a mop bucket. He's just shoved right in there, legs hanging out. That looks like fun.
Yeah.
I'd do that. Why not?
Looks good, especially if I got to wear a helmet. No one else was wearing a helmet.
Yeah, what's that all about? I didn't even notice that. Helmet, come on. Carpet skating's up next, boys.
Oh, man.
I gotta say, starting with this segment, and there's another one, but there's always good hardcore punk for these segments, and I just fucking love it. I'm gonna explain what this is in a second, but I gotta say, shout out to the Circle Jerks for this song, Wild in the Streets. Love it.
You actually know the name of this song?
I was hoping that you did, Jay, because I wanted to get that song and add it to my old Spotify.
Nice.
Please do.
Where you can rate and review
banger.
the Jackass podcast show.
You can do that. And here's what's going on with carpet skating. So they've got some decks without trucks, skateboards for you ill-informed, down the stairs of various hotels with pro skaters. That's basically all it is. We get a couple shots of people you might not recognize from the crew, but making guest appearances. But then something strange happens, guys. Wait a second. I thought this was carpet skating. Why are we doing this on the clearly non-carpeted streets of a city in the USA? Did they remove the carpet? I don't understand. Where is the carpet?
Well, the carpet was being used by Wee Man in a future sketch, actually. So they had to take it off.
Dude, go ahead, Mikey.
I gotta say, Daewon Song.
We needed to mention his name. That's what I was. He's one of the greatest ever. He still is so good. I don't know how old he is right now. I follow him on Instagram. He is doing the most gnarly shit you could ever imagine. He is so technical. He does shit where he takes the bolt off his truck and does a trick and kicks a wheel off and then puts another wheel back on mid-trick. He's just unbelievable how creative that guy is.
He's 47 years old.
Wow. Still going
insane.
too.
He was so impressive, man. This was we're not rating this one because it lacks a little bit of structure, but this was what a great palate cleanse. I say that a lot, like a palate cleanse, and that's what the interstitial should be. This one may be a little bit too long. I think there were a couple attempts that they could have done without, maybe one or two by Gooch, where it just doesn't really go anywhere. But holy fuck, watching Daewon Song just rip ass in this one was so cool. It was just really impressive.
Yeah, big time. Check out his Instagram, awesome. People. It's the best skateboarding Instagram account to follow. It's just little videos of just weird shit you could never even think of.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, just the fact that you have a pro like that on the show, like I didn't recognize him out of the gate. I'm glad you guys knew who that was, but I recognized the name, and it's just like, I think one of the things I love about Jackass too is when you get these guest appearances for skaters and stuff, usually it's guys who go on to, continue to do something in their career or, already have that notoriety. And it's just, adds a little bit of flavor of the time. Like, it just goes to show that like Jackass and skateboard culture were synonymous at this time.
Still rooted in the same thing, right?
Yeah. It's lasted, the test of time. Like, you go watch the new movie and there's how much skateboarding was actually in that movie other than the guillotine? Now that I think of it, I mean, there was guest
appearances.
Not
much skateboarding, but here's the thing: when we're in the theater watching the new movie, there's like, I would say there's 3 or 4 of my favorite like underground skateboarding guys, and it's like so weird that they're I wouldn't say like, and if you know skateboarding, they're really popular, but they have no mainstream things. Like Dave Gravette was a guy that jumped over on the bike on the ramp, and then they had this guy Aaron Jaws Homoki, I think it is, who does like the craziest drop-ins off of roofs and things. I think he actually really hurt himself and he's kind of recovering back again. But it was just so cool to see these guys in it. And it was like, I don't know. I was
it's great. Get the recognition.
Thanks,
Are you Chris? Chris is
I just stroked out.
He got really emotional. Chris is getting really emotional at some of the old skaters.
Guys,
He loves those guys.
Yeah. And, I was just having a thought here, boys, now that we're just on a quick little tangent about the new movie. Do you remember back before it came out and they announced they were filming it and there was rumors and no one was really sure if it was happening or not? I remember listening to a podcast with SteveO and they said they were doing it and he confirmed they were filming it. And my mind was just running fucking wild with like, what are they doing? Like, what are the stunts going to be? And like, I don't know why I had this thought now, but I guess what I want to segue into is that excitement of like just speculation over Jackass and what they're gonna do to top themselves. Like when I heard Johnny Knoxville seriously injured himself during the filming, I'm thinking like, I can't wait to see what that is.
Yes,
like that. Yeah. I just want to let the listeners know that next week we're actually going to take a break from our regular run. I figured this was a good time, and we're actually going to do a bit of a different format episode where we're just going to sit down, talk about what we've seen so far in season 3, maybe some of the other Jackass things we haven't had a chance to reflect on yet. And we're just going to do an episode of just straight bullshitting about, speculate on some things, talk about our favorite moments, and just have a real fucking rip-roaring good time doing that. So I just wanted to plug that, let you know we're going to shake it up next week.
It's going to be the equivalent of the muscle stimulator of our podcast episodes, where it's just the 3 of us just hanging out, finding time to talk about something we love with a little bit less structure. We can have some fun with that. And we had such a positive response to the Jackass Forever one, which was a little bit less structured as well, that I'm going to try that out. So give it a listen next week and let us know what you think.
Yeah, I think there's always a lot of fun to do the behind the scenes talk and just have like, I don't know, just shoot the shit about Jackass. So we're looking forward to having you there with us, and that'll be next week. But here we have a job to do, so let's get back into it. This is carpet skating. I don't think we're going to give this one a rating. However, if I did, I'd have to give it a real big penalty for not owning up to the promise of the title, not having the carpet. I mean,
well, listen, Jay, when you shred so hard on carpet, the carpet gets removed. So clearly they were just committing so hard that the carpet was no more.
Okay.
Wow.
That's fine.
That's very true.
Need a minute for that. All right. Listen, I will say this though, guys.
Rugs, baby.
On a side note, there's a particular aspect of the phrase, does the carpet match the drapes, that came to mind. I need an explanation on this, please, because I don't know what you guys are into, but I don't find it socially acceptable to invite strangers to walk all over my pubic region with their socked feet. And on that note, I also can't think of a time where I use my, luscious flowing locks of brown hair to cover up the windows of my house while I'm, rubbing one out.
I think you just need a new you need to discover some new playlists on Pornhub, because it feels like you're living a very sheltered life behind those curtains.
Okay. Well, before we get back into it, I just want to note on the podcast, on the record, that when I do rub one out, it's always for glory and country, of course. I only whack it to the Canadian national anthem.
Yes.
True patriot.
I just
love.
whack it because I'm so depressed and I just need that dopamine hit. That's it.
That's
the only thing
another
that keeps
one.
me from not offing myself,
That's yeah, and Chris actually wipes it off on the Canadian flag. It's like 2 very different things.
Never.
Right.
Don't ever put me in that corner. I'm a fucking believer in this country and the freedom convoy and everything that comes with it. All right.
Look, I didn't want to believe the rumors were true, but hey, at least this is a cock that all of us can command. That's all I'm saying. I got enough of these. I got jokes like these for days. Let's move on. Knoxville is back for another big order.
Chris and I just being quiet, and you're like, guys, we gotta go. We're like, tell us again about your drapes. You're leading the episode.
Yeah. True North, strong and free, baby. All right, next segment. Knoxville is back
Peter
for
North,
another
strong and
order.
free.
Ooh, baby.
Doug.
Yeah, I bet he's cummed on a few flags here or there. That guy's like a loose cannon. Knoxville is back for another order of bum chicken here. God, it took us fucking long enough to get to it. In case you skipped ahead, please rewind to hear me talk about whacking it to the Canadian national anthem. But this time it's more like some bakak. He's putting his penis on a guy instead of his bum.
Yeah, this one feels.
I feel like
I don't like this one as much as the other one. It felt like just awkward and uncomfortable. Like he was intimidating the guy. This one wasn't as fun to me.
That's why I loved it. The guy was so little and he just wanted to leave so bad. And it's just like, nope, I'm just going to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and he did. Success.
So, I mean, hey, I think, after an experience like that, you might need a little time off, blow off some steam, go on a vacation. How about we hit up Notre Dame?
Or as we like to call it, Notre Dave instead of Notre Dame. Because it's Dave England as the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes, sir.
Guys, let me just take the lead on this one real quick because I
Okay.
really brought up a lot of things over here. So basically, you have Dave England dressed up as Quasimodo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, running around outside of Notre Dame and just getting people's reactions. And what really bothered me is, put yourself in this perspective. You're a young little baby boy hunchback, man, growing up. You have no heroes, no one that you could resemble.
Yeah.
But they look up to this guy Quasimodo. He was ostracized. Nice little boy. No one gave him the time of day, and he found his living inside that Notre Dame place.
Yeah.
And this kid's growing up, like what if this was a real boy and his only hero was Quasimodo and people are being mean to him outside the place where he was supposed to gain his liberance finally. And these people are just dicks.
Gain is what?
Liberation.
He clearly said liberance. Come on, get with the program.
Liberace.
Chris, you're absolutely right.
I can't
People are
believe how mean
fucking
they are.
mean.
Like, he could have
They're
been a real
running away
hunchback.
from him. You're running away from him.
The whole point of Hunchback of Notre Dame is to not judge people because he's a nice guy doing these things. And everybody outside the literal Hunchback of Notre Dame Palace are fucking running away from a hunchback. And that's not fucking cool, man.
All right. That's
He
fair.
had no heroes.
He did. Yeah. No, Chris makes a good point. You don't want to scar the children who may or may not look up to the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I'm just saying this might be the perfect time to mention that I thought, hey, wouldn't this have been a great Don Vito cameo? Maybe on second thought.
Honestly.
Maybe not so much.
You're right though, Chris. Everyone fancies themselves a real Esmeralda, but in the end, they're just Claude Frollo.
Holy shit.
Couldn't have said it better
did you
myself.
just pull that out? I've spent time thinking of this from last night, how I was going to present this segment, and I couldn't even get that deep. You're fucking unreal, Mikey.
Dude, here's one thing that's unreal. Do you guys recognize this fucking cardigan? The yellow cardigan. It's all over Jackass
it's
forever.
The poop sweater, yeah.
100%.
Totally.
Love that one.
Yeah.
The one he wears to the hardware store. Dave obviously stretching it out a little. Everyone who's worn a cardigan will know once it's stretched, it's never coming back. And this Hunchback must have stretched it out quite a bit. My biggest thing about this one though is I honestly don't understand. Jay, you may know this, but how does Jackass have a song for everything? Like, where do they find a song that says Hunchback multiple times prominently and fits the theme of the show?
Yeah.
Here's my question.
Totally, man.
Have you guys ever heard, ever, name one song that's about a hunchback? Even in the movie,
other than this one,
even in the movie Hunchback of Notre Dame,
hunchback.
you won't find a song about a hunchback. It'll be like talking around it. No other song says hunchback specifically like 9 times.
There might be a song about a humpback whale, and you could kind of fit that in a little bit.
Oh, true. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
In terms of the actual,
I think it's Knoxville. I've always said that from what I've heard from the other Jackass guys. Apparently, he's just a fucking music
connoisseur. Did you guys like the minute to minute of this one though? Like apart from, I feel like the premise of it was awesome, similar to the pinata one, which is a word I've been struggling to find all episode long. But it's a great idea, but Dave England's personality doesn't show up at all. I thought he would talk a little bit more. I thought he'd make a backstory for the character like he did in, maybe he just peaked too early in urban kayaking, Like he nailed that one. He fucking nailed that one. And I want more of that.
Yeah. It was tough to see what he could do with this one. Once he got into public and he was running around, people freaked out a little bit, but there was no like shot of him in the sunset by the bell up in the
Yes,
tower or something.
exactly,
You could have had some
exactly.
flavor there, I guess. Oh, by the way, this is the Dickies with She's a Hunchback. If you're looking for it, also a good punk rock song. I cannot express to you, listener, how good these songs you've probably never heard of are. So go look that one up and put it on your playlist. I'm thinking like,
Yeah.
well, you're totally right. What did you think of this one, Chris?
I was just mad at the people. Like, it was a great idea. It was funny. Just the idea of actual Hunchback running around Notre Dame. And just no one got it. No one like played into it. No one was nice to it. It was just like it just missed in so many corners. I thought it could have been great, but I don't think it's Dave England's fault per se. He was kind of playing the character pretty well. It just was one of those ones that didn't really work out, unfortunately.
Why don't you jump into your review then?
I'm going with a 4 again out of 10. Seems to be close to my numbers for all these. Which is weird because I really enjoyed the episode, but the actual ratings aren't that good. Maybe the interstitials are carrying over. It's kind of strange.
I think episodes that have a couple really good ones really raise the overall feeling, even though you have a bunch of 4s. You need that one as like the whatever's going to start the flame, like the catalyst. And I think this one had that. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I agree, Chris, this one was a little bit disappointing. Great idea. I just think that they chose to go with the wrong tone. They chose to go with chaos instead of what you described, Jay, as something a bit more melancholy, and finding humor in the writing of the scene instead of the running of the pedestrians around. So I'm going to give this one a 4.5.
Yeah, plus the Hunchback is the guy who fucking burned that place down anyway. So I mean, like,
it definitely was him.
I can't give him too big of a score. I'm just going 3 out of 10.
Hunchback had a hot plate he forgot about, left it on overnight.
No, it was some kid it was some little Hunchback kid looking for his hero watching this episode, and he grew up and said, fuck it, I'm burning that place down.
Oh, dude, what if the Hunchback kid looking for his hero became the new Hunchback,
Ooh.
and moved into the clock tower and like was late on rent, and like that was, he's like mad at the landlord. Ooh, you
could be
Francois, I'll show you. And then he fucking,
I think it would have been Claude Frollo once again, but
are you sure?
That got me.
Mikey, would you care to break down the soundtrack, track by track for us of the Hunchback in Notre Dame?
I will. I'll break them down.
Do
I'll break it down by saying that it doesn't hold a candle to the song that we get in this stunt, and that's all I need to say about that.
All right, fair enough.
True.
But hey, boys, I've had enough of this bullshit. I want to hit the metro and go where the action is, go where the people gather. The metro, yes. What better way than to dress up as a bunny, in which I think is just a brilliant move here. You'll find out in a second why. I always think every time I see the bunny costume, that's Pontius, right? It is Pontius. I'm not mistaken.
It's got to be. I can tell by the way he's hopping. This is Pontius.
Okay, strange observation, but I'll take it. His finger gets stuck in the door. He's in the train, for reference. He's not on the platform. That would be a disaster waiting to happen. And he starts screaming. He's losing it. This bunny is very, very upset that his finger's stuck in the door. Now, what makes this beautiful is the reveal that's about to happen.
So good.
No, nobody's really, before I reveal it, nobody's really trying to help this guy or anything. It's kind of like, it reminds me of Tom Green's Subway Monkey Hour, where Tom Green was in Japan on the subway and just nobody would pay any mind to the man screaming about.
But this was different because it felt like they were kind
grapes,
of playing along with the joke.
Yeah, and what happens next is just beautiful. The camera pans over to a graphic beside the door that is almost like pound for pound the same bunny with his hand caught in the door.
It's so good. And when I saw that,
can't ask for better than
that is honestly the hardest I've laughed in all of Jackass season 3 so far. And I'm not saying that as a shot. That just, when I saw the camera pan and it's a picture of a bunny dressed just like Chris Pontius's bunny with his hand stuck in the door, I lost my mind. It was so fucking funny and it felt so good. It was just the perfect shot. It laid on him long enough and panned over and then gives you that little feeling of like, now I understand what the fuck I just watched. And it's good that they didn't, if they showed that before the stunt, it wouldn't have landed the same way. That as the punchline was amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's just do you remember like when airplanes for some reason when we were a kid, like in the safety book. It would have
Yes.
weird characters like a bunny or like a clown in all these weird circumstances. And I guess it's to get people to actually pay attention to it, because I would always get in the plane, be so excited to find the weird little characters in the safety book. Meanwhile, I'm looking at all the safety information. So I guess it holds the weight in those types of things. But I don't know. This was just so good. Unfortunately, I remembered this from before, so I was like, once I knew the bunny and he was going in there, I remembered the whole thing. But
Oh,
it was
man, I
just-
didn't remember
it's so
it at all.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it either, we just spoiled it for you. Sorry about that. Great. That's probably one of the best interstitials I've seen. That's like how I think you should use an interstitial.
Totally.
You know? Perfect.
Or this next one. Or this next one was actually amazing as well.
Yes, you're correct. This is a special bench edition of Bum Bum Chicken here. Except this time, Knoxville tries to put his arm around the guy sitting next to him, which causes a small fight. And then the bunny from the subway shows up. It's perfect. I loved it.
The bunny from the subway shows up, diffuses the situation, and then the guy calms down, and Knoxville puts his arm back around the guy, and he gets pissed off again. That was like the moment living in that guy's head would be just absurd.
That's the best part about this. You could tell he's been around. He's seen some weird shit in his life. He's fucking clearly drunk, a bit of a vagabond type character. And he just is like, is this guy really putting his arm around me? Gets pissed off. And then a fucking bunny comes out of nowhere, saves the day. And it's so perfect.
And the guy's got to think like, look, if this bunny can't stop this guy from putting his arm around me, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah, 100%. I think the only way you could have made this better, the only way is after Johnny put his arm around him the second time after the bunny diffuses the situation, is if the guy was just suddenly in a better mood because the bunny was there,
that would
and
have been
they just
amazing.
hugged for a second, you know? That would have been great.
That would've been
But anyway,
fantastic.
Paintball Duel is up next, and this ain't no old-fashioned, ordinary duel. Well, I guess in a way it is old-fashioned. What the fuck am I talking about? Because it's cowboys here, boys. It's old West style
Hell yeah.
paintball duel with Knoxville, Cossack, Pontius, and Cossack taking part. They put on cowboy gear for this and everything. Pontius and those fucking assless chaps. Oh, he's a snack, isn't he?
Dude, Pontius dressed the way he's dressed right now. If I told you he had a puka shell necklace on in this stunt, you'd believe me, right? Like the leather vest. Are you kidding me? What goes better with a leather vest than a puka shell necklace?
A holster with fucking guns, man.
A holster held together with a puka shell belt.
Okay,
I think.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
He's getting
All right.
close, guys. We're gonna see the puka shell necklace at some point. I guarantee it.
When it happens, I'm going to lose my fucking marbles or my puka shells.
I was anticipating an Old West shootout, and this does not disappoint. They're going to do it just the way you picture it in your mind. Take your paces, turn around, fastest draw is going to win. I think the way they were doing it is who gets hit first, but it seems like it devolves into chaos. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on sometimes.
Who gets hit first in the between, like below the neck to above the nuts. And the problem is everyone's turning away from it, except Johnny, who's like not afraid of the pain, and that ends up being a detriment because he loses everything he has because he's squaring up to them, which is what they should be doing. Everyone else is like hiding their chest, which is a little bit lame, but it ends up giving us some good content. I actually really fucking like this one.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, me too.
It was definitely fun.
Who did you guys think was going to win pre-tournament?
Johnny, honestly.
I was kind of hoping
for
Cossack.
Pontius.
Cossack seems to do really well, surprisingly, in a lot of these things. Like whenever they have like these weird little tournaments and he happens to be in it, he usually overshines more than you would expect. So I was kind of hoping for him, but then I was kind of right because Cossack ends up winning.
Dude, Cossack though,
Who the hell
he
was
was
that guy anyways?
Mike Cossack. I think he's a skateboarder. He was great because he really played into the role as well. Like you can see he like at one point in the final duel, he does like a cowboy roll. And I was like, that's my boy. That's my boy. That was awesome.
That was
when he did the
cool.
cowboy roll and won, holy tombstone. That was fantastic.
I think my favorite moment was in the first round with Pontius versus Cossack, where they determined that Pontius won by lactation, which I thought was good.
Yes.
Hit him right in the nipple.
Good for
Either
Pontius
Cossack
being the only
lactated.
one. Good for Pontius being the only one with like exposed flesh.
Yes.
Like everybody
yeah.
else is covered up. Like that people you could just see by the welts and everything. Again, paintballs must fucking suck. I've never gotten hit with one, and it looks
you
like
haven't?
they use
Not
high
fun.
power
Depends
paintballs
who you
anyways
get.
because
They suck, man. They suck
yeah.
way more than people think. They suck a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain parts where it won't hurt as much, but like if you get hit in the hand or something like that, or something where like the skin is really thin, or fucking shit like that sucks. The neck sucks. Well, obviously the nuts. God,
Yeah.
Paintballing. I haven't been paintballing in so long. I got to do that again one day.
What didn't suck was the fact that they clearly paid for the rights to get some Sergio Leone or Ernie Morricone, whatever his name is, the guy who does most of the spaghetti westerns like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. They got the music. I think this was Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And it just worked so well. Yeah. I like that Pontius didn't show up dressed as like Bunny the lifeguard. Do you know what I mean? I like that they all tried to like pretend like they were taking it seriously, because sometimes that makes the joke funnier as opposed to like trying to make it silly. Like, and Cossack dressed as Cossack. There's a point where he goes to the camera and he's like, "How do I look?" And you can tell he thinks he looks good. And he wants that answer. They're like, "Dude, you look like a fucking you look like a joke," and it really hurts him. And that made me laugh, even though it was like a very real moment and probably hurt him to this day.
Yeah, still crying about it. Somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I think like it's kind of hard to talk in detail about this one in terms of like things that happened or big moments, but I think you're onto something there, Mikey, with the fact that the presentation was good and they really did commit to it. Having the music was great. So yeah, you can't ask for much more in terms of a cowboy stunt. They did what they told you they were going to do, and they gave you a little extra flair on top of it. So I'm just going to give it a quick rating now and say that out of everything we've seen so far, I don't think this beats the slip and slide, but I would give it a solid right down the middle 5 out of 10.
What are you doing?
I can't go above the slip and slide. If I go above in the slip and slide, it no longer makes sense. That's why. That's why I'm going 5.
The slip and slide. What are you doing?
No.
This one is so good.
It can't be. It's good, but it's like, it's just dudes shooting paintball. I've seen that before. I like the costumes and stuff. Don't get me wrong. Music was great, but I don't know.
Okay, because I have something that I'm gonna throw your way in the last stunt of this one. That's gonna throw everything for a loop based on what you just said. So you fucking prepare I'm pissed. I'm out for blood now.
All right.
I'm giving the paint. No, I'm going to lay it on you in a little bit. So now you gotta worry about it a little bit. The true anticipation of a slow burn, like a Sergio Leone movie. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. Not quite an 8.5 because that's what I gave the Spermathon. And I think the Spermathon had a bit more to it, but I loved the setup of this one. I loved the paintballs. There was a little bit of pain involved, but it was more about the spectacle, and spectacle goes such a long way for me in these.
I'm going with a 3 out of 10.
Fuck you.
No, all right. I'm kidding.
The blame must be shifted.
No, but for real, I'm going a 6 out of 10. It was cool. I like the spectacle, but I really don't see what you got so much out of it. Maybe you're just one of those fucking, what do they call it? Those sing-along friggin' live action. What do they call that shit? Plays?
What are you talking about? Did you hurt your head? What is happening? Why am I in a Jackass podcast with two guys who don't like Jackass? What is happening?
I love Jackass. I just don't like those friggin' plays. Oh, everyone's dressing up and fucking singing songs, and all of a sudden you're just like, why don't you just go fucking
do you know what he's talking about right now?
I love Jackass, but I have honestly, no idea what the fuck.
I know what I'm talking about, and it's not coming out right. Like,
no, I know that, Chris. I'm very aware that it's not coming out right. Okay,
it's like go see a play or some shit. Oh, whatever.
I do. I've seen.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. All right. Fucking nerd.
Let's move on.
All right.
Fucking Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat over here, fucking giving ratings.
Mikey, I'm gonna say this. Listen. You rated this an 8, right?
Yeah.
You remember The Ultimate Fighter?
I do.
You rated that an 8.
I did.
You're saying this is as good as The Ultimate Fighter.
I am, because I think the context makes a lot of sense. The Ultimate Fighter was very good for one person, and that was Ryan Dunn. I think this is a great communal one, and I think they do different things. And this one didn't require the bravery because there's no such thing. Like, it's a little bit of pain. It's not getting knocked out by a UFC fighter. But the pomp and circumstance around it meant a lot to me. I like that.
Fair enough. I may be upset at the discourse here, but all I need to do to feel better, boys, all that I need to do to feel better is to just get out my big, friendly, giant-sized stepping stool, go into the woods with my buddies, and flip over it. Because that's what Brandon Deco and the boys are doing here. Kind of a strange interstitial.
Just hitting the CKY stairs to nowhere, you know?
Yeah.
Did they go to someone's house, do a B&E, like with some handsaws and cut off a segment of their porch? Like, I don't understand where they got this
Or do
thing
people
from.
Just leave porches in the middle of the forest? Like, it has to be one of those things.
That's the latter. I think that's what it is. Just like people were there and their house got demolished and things got taken, and then just like part of the porch was there.
It could be. The only thing worth talking about in this one, apart from the fact that it's great to see them having a fun time, is that Ryan Dunn's toque is the same as the toque that the kid in the movie Elf wears. And that's not okay.
Jesus Christ, Mike.
It's like a toque with a beak. What are you doing?
Right.
Why are you wearing that?
On one hand, Jesus Christ. On the second hand, you've been promoted to new fun fact guy of the day. That was good. That was some deep digging shit right there. I couldn't have come up with that. Listen, boys, you know what else relaxes me when I'm feeling agitated?
What's that?
Going to the park and getting the birds to crawl. Yes, crawl all over me. Johnny Knoxville's got some bird food, and he's just going to go and fucking play with the birds for a bit. He does put it in his butt crack, so he takes a page from SteveO and Wild Boyz here.
That part's good.
Sorry.
There's only a couple things I want to say about this one because it's basically just Johnny in the middle of birds, like a bunch of birds, getting them to jump on him and eat from his hands and then his ass crack. But what did make me laugh is the cameraman, I think it was Dimitri, judging by his voice, you can hear him say, do you think the bird suit would have worked here? The bird suit from Jackass season 1, which is a great callback because that's like one of the notorious shit stunts that they've done, which is great. And the second one is if I were to rate this one, once Johnny gets over, once he bends over and he puts the food in his ass crack and the birds are there, I like to sometimes imagine if there were a thumbnail for this on Pornhub, what the title would be. And I think the title would be Johnny Knoxville gets ass eaten by millennial chicks in public.
Hey,
right?
Well put together. Somebody's been working on his SEO, I see.
Wow, that's a good one.
I've been working on my SEO.
Listen, guys, I think it's about time we all bow our heads, kneel down, and welcome the true king of Jackass. This is the Wee Man as the Wee King. And he's riding on top of this red carpet through the streets being pulled by a van. I really like the alternate king attire here. I feel like whoever is player 1 had to press right trigger and X to activate that one, but I'm glad we got to see it unlocked. Boys, what do you think of this?
You know what? It was good to get I'm glad this one exists because it gave us that shot of him getting dragged out that we see in the intro. But it was so inconsequential apart from that. Like once he gets the hang of it and you see him kind of getting dragged, it's okay. But when I saw him dressed as a king, I was thinking unrolling the red carpet and hitting Johnny Knoxville in the nuts like he does in the movie. Apart from that, I don't think we needed as much of it, especially for a stunt that's probably about 3 minutes long. Takes up a lot of real estate in what I consider an otherwise pretty good episode.
Yeah, this should have been like a 20-second interstitial. I just love when you just see that beaming, confident smile from Wee Man.
I know.
It is just the greatest smile, honestly. I can't really think of a better smile anywhere, like on any person. It just makes me so happy. So 20 seconds of that would have been more than enough for me. But yeah,
I agree.
It was unnecessary, the rest of it.
Boys, a long time ago, in our recent history, I'll say. Not actually in this galaxy. Rihanna was going through some rough times, and I know she's been through some shit. That girl, she was feeling a little down, but you know, sometimes when you feel down, you get inspired.
Yeah.
And when you're a musician, you just feel like you gotta write a real jam. You know what I mean? You just gotta put pen to paper and fucking bang those words out.
Hell yeah.
And boy, all I gotta say is I'm glad she tuned into this episode when it aired because Bum Bum Chicken returns, but this time it's French guy with an umbrella chicken. And you can stand under mine anytime. Anytime.
I have one thing to say about that, Jay. I know you're obviously referring to Rihanna's incident with Chris Brown, which kind of put her on obviously a tough situation to be in. But that happened after the song Umbrella came out. So
I wasn't referring to that at all. I was referring to the time she was doing volunteer service at a McDonald's and Brandon came by and gave her the old fire in the hole, and she never recovered from that.
They didn't even know she was working that day. That was tough. My biggest takeaway from this one, because it's just an interstitial, this guy's a fucking G. The guy who's under the umbrella, he goes to a table to pick up an ashtray to threaten to smack Johnny in the head with it and then laughs about it. But this guy's like such a French gangster that I honestly was a bit surprised he had to go to a table to pick up the ashtray, because he looks like the kind of guy who just has them in his pocket at any point. He could just like have an ashtray to like give to someone
with a pool cue or some shit like that.
Exactly.
Take this, leave me alone.
Yeah, this guy was badass. I want to see more of him.
Yeah. I love Johnny's reaction too. He's like, "Well, okay," and they both laughed at each other and they went their separate ways.
Just respect,
it was
just
great.
ultimate respect. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, Johnny Knoxville sure did pad out this episode, but there's no padding in this next one, boys. This is Nutball.
Well done, dude. Well done.
Nutball was a game that Knoxville used to play as a young boy, frolicking with his friends, which I can just picture now. You know, little Knoxville and those bullseye undies. Mikey, don't get too wet over there. It's okay.
It's too late.
To talk about.
It's too late, man.
So basically, we sit in a circle, a nice sharing circle in the living room, and we got a nice heavy ball to throw around. And you can guess. I mean, like, hey, boys, you got to be sitting crisscross for this one because your nuts have to be exposed. And yeah, it's all up to fate at this point, really.
I think the image of the 6 guys sitting in a circle in their tidy whities alone is just really funny to me. They're just like sitting down like they're at a fucking sleepover getting into trouble. And that's what this one kind of felt like. This vibe of we talk about the muscle stimulator of just having these guys over together, just getting into shit. You can tell there was some drinking involved, most likely in the background. I really fucking like this one. I forgot it existed. So when I saw Dave England standing there in his underwear at the title screen, I was just like, man, just brought me right back. This was one of my favorites. I fucking loved it.
This was definitely, when I saw this, like you said, like it slipped my mind. I totally forgot about this sketch, but it's always been one of my favorite ones. Yeah. It's one of the ones that stands out in my mind the most as a Jackass type thing. And I felt like the last probably 3 episodes, we haven't had one of those iconic sketch moments really in this season so far.
I'd say the omelet.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You know what? You're right about that. But either way, it just felt like it was much needed at that time for me. You know, I went through the episode and just to kind of bring everything together. One of those big, powerful, all-time Jackass sketches, and it's just so good. It's just so funny. It's just friendly, joking around. You know, it hurts a little bit, but it's not brutal until the end, I guess. But it's just awesome.
I love the moment that Dave England, because they're all making jokes about like, well, obviously Pontius has got an advantage because he's got a lot of meat covering his nuts, which is just hilarious to think of. Dave England looks at the camera and says, I have a little dick and 1 nut. So I didn't realize he only had 1 nut, but it's a smaller target, but also smaller amount of protection. He's staring at the camera and gets, I don't know another way to describe what happens to him except for he gets clapped, because the sound that ball makes when it clearly lands on his ball, like just on his ball, is excruciating. It hurt me to hear it, and the look in his face, it looks like he's going to throw up. He's like, I'm done, I'm out. I just lost my one good ball.
A real 3-pointer, that one. It was high up in the air. It had some hang time. Yeah, beautiful shot.
The sound of the ball, Mike, you hit the nail on the head, is the best part about this.
And it didn't sound like a fake sound. It didn't sound like a fake one. That felt real to me.
Yeah, the sound effects here, again, another great example in this episode of every time you get a ball to ball, you get a nice pop. And it's kind of like how they put those fucking sound effects into video games now, or like apps. You know, when you do something, you get that little dopamine hit. I was getting the dopamine hit from the ball to ball, you know?
Like I was checking my phone like I had a notification every time someone's nuts got hit.
So, this one's great. It's definitely a classic, but it's one of those, like, I feel like this is an underrated classic. Until you see it, you don't really remember that it's there, but then it just, you see the visual and you're like, oh, fuck yeah, this is going to be great. And it definitely delivered, I think.
And SteveO was fucking great at it, man. He was great. Mm-hmm. I think his aim, his circus games thing came in, and he just had the hand-eye coordination to dominate everybody.
That's it.
This is essentially the man's version of beer pong. You know what I mean? That nice little elbow throw. You know, if you could play beer pong, this is where you step up to be a real man.
And you know what's funny, Chris, is you say that, you're like, this is the man's version. And like, we're not supposed to say like the man's version, but like, no, literally, you got to be a man to play nutball. Like, you need the nuts. Otherwise,
you need the
what
equipment,
are you doing?
right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But you know what? We're not done yet, boys. I mean, there's always in most good Jackass stunts, I say most, they up the stakes at some point. They know they're onto something. Let's take it another level. And they do that here. We're going to throw a dog bone. Now, if you have a dog or someone who has a dog, you know how heavy these fucking bones are that they chew on. Like, that's got some weight. When that comes down, it's going to be like a hammer. What I love here is they pick from a hat who's going to have to take the bone. But before, they rig the game, and they basically just put all Aaron in the hat, which is, oh, man. Nice touch.
It sucks, but it's also the best part of it. You know what I mean? It's like, part of me is like, fuck, man, just make it fair. But the other part is like, it is so much fucking funnier that it's going to be him, and they all know it except for him. And he probably didn't know until well after. Even probably weeks after of that. Yeah.
That was great. I loved every moment of it. I mean, listen, I know Jay, you're the poo guy and I'm the vomit guy and Chris is whatever, the cum guy. I think Chris was the cum guy.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll bear that cross.
But the nut shot guy, like I just fucking, it's agony. Like I love to see the agony of someone who got hit in the nuts. It just it does such a good job for me.
Yeah, totally agree.
And what a
ready
great
to rate
sketch.
this one?
Yeah, I'm ready to jump in. Chris, why don't you give us yours right off the
I'm
bat
a
here.
fucking 100%. I'm a 10 out of 10. This is the type of shit I love. This is that like it's that stuff that brings me back. It just has everything I want. It has that camaraderie. It's them goofing around. You get that levels of, you get that deception at the end. It's just one of those ones I go back and remember, and I can watch it again and again, and it's always going to be great. And especially after kind of some lackluster things, this fully deserves a 10 out of 10 in my books.
Yeah, I'm going to give my review after yours, Jane. I'm going to lead to you, but before you give your review, I want to remind you of what you said in the paintball sketch. You said, I've seen paintball before.
Uh-huh.
I've seen people get hit by paintballs.
Yeah, I've never seen this though.
I've seen people
baby.
get hit by paintballs.
Are you making fun of my goiter? Cut it out.
I've seen people get hit by paintballs.
You know I'm very sensitive about my goiter.
If I got a goiter, hey, here's a goiter. You can shove your goiter right up your goiter. Hey,
look it up, Chris. Go look up goiter. Put neck goiter. Do it.
But
right
here's
now.
the thing: you said that you've seen people get hit by paintballs. We've seen people get hit in the nuts. We've seen a lot of people get hit in a lot of nuts. So I'm curious to see, Jay, where you rate this one.
I'm gonna rate it. Hold on. I'm just watching Chris here intently. There we go.
Oh my god, this one looks like almost like a butt cheek in the neck. What the hell?
Okay, well, I've never heard that description before, but I think that's my new favorite. They should put that in the dictionary under goiter if you need an example.
Oh,
sentence.
Jesus. It's like a big, thick neck thing. Fucking hell. I don't like that.
Yeah, so for all my goiter heads out there, you know who your true friends are on this podcast.
I think they're goiter necks.
Yeah, all right, fine.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I got to rate this one.
Yes.
Mikey's real upset, so I better be careful here. Listen, though, if you brought up the muscle stimulator, that's going to go down as one of my favorite stunts. It's in that top 10, I'm sure. This definitely has that feel. I would agree with that sentiment. However, I don't think it surpasses that. Just because the muscle stimulator it's charged, baby, pardon the pun, but it's got that extra little step to it. This was really good though. This is something that, as much as it would suck to do, you'd almost want to do it with your friends if you were there. So I can't go any lower than an 8 out of 10 on this one for me.
Wow. Man, you are a hard marker. You are a very hard marker. Although,
unless it's the cornfields.
Unless it's the cornfields, right?
Yeah, why are we even talking about it? Everybody knows it's the best stunt of all time.
This one, I really enjoyed it, man. It's so iconic. I think though the fact that I didn't remember it and I did remember other ones along the way might be a little bit of a hit to it. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10, not quite a 10, because I do think we've had these, so like you said, Jay, we've had these sorts of situations done slightly better.
There you go. Yeah, it's a great, trust me, the reason I said at the outset of this episode that I enjoyed myself was due in part to the great start and the nice finish. It had a good top and bottom to it. Even if the middle got a little slow, you had a good time the whole way through. Everybody was having fun. Lots of laughs here. But yeah, what a way to end it, really.
It had a nice top and bottom to it, just like when Garbage Man rode Johnny down the slide. Nice top and bottom.
And there you go. And hey, as usual, we get our credit roll here. Let's go to a fight in the yard in our Target undies. And hey, boys, I wonder if they sell a pair of those Target undies at Trader Joe's.
Oh, yep.
Bad joke.
I mean, not great.
Bad joke. Listen, it's a real stinker. It was a real stinker, just like me, because this episode is over and now I must go and defecate. I've been holding in a real nice juicy one for at least the last 10, 15. You know when it kind of pokes at the anus and then goes back in? I've been having that.
They call it prairie dogging.
Prairie dogging. So
but before you go, Jay, we got to give this we got to give the MVP of the episode.
Okay.
And I have to give a shout out to someone. See, Jay, the amount of times we're trying to shut it down and you just keep on bringing it back, Jay. This is fucking revenge time, right, buddy?
I should have found a way to make this mobile. Oh, God.
All right, you start with your shout out, Chris, and then we'll get into our MVPs.
I was just chatting with this guy yesterday. Sent us a message from Mexico City.
Nice.
Good old Dwight from Mexico City. As his profile reads, he's a joker. He's a smoker. He's a midnight toker, and he gets his loving on the run. But yeah, he just was really big fan of the show. Sending him some messages. He found us just by searching in Jackass stuff, and yeah, it was great. So I wanted to shout him out. Dwight from Mexico City.
All right, hey, Dwight from Mexico City. We better see a fucking review on iTunes from you. And now I know your name. Right, eh? You leave your name in the fucking review. No, I'm kidding. Thanks for listening, buddy.
Yeah. Muchas gracias. Viva Mexico. Fucking what's next? Mikey, please hurry.
Let's go with our MVP, man. Let's go. I can hurry. I've got this one locked, loaded, and I say that on purpose because it's cowboy themed. Mike Kasich, specifically his cowboy role, is getting my nod for MVP of this episode.
Oh, really? I got to definitely go with Danger Aaron for sure.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Oh, no, Aaron's, that's a good pick.
Aaron was great, but I think I gave him the MVP last episode, so I'm I wanted to switch it up a little bit. And
Jay's about to MVP in his pants.
Most valuable poopy.
Heavy poo in his pants.
What about do you guys have a LVP, the biggest loser of this episode?
Well, I'll jump in and give my MVP real quick. I would say that the bunny is definitely my MVP because that's just, you can't get a better visual than that, my friend. But yeah, LVP though, I'm actually surprised that I'm gonna go this way with it. But I think, I don't know. I want to give the guy credit, but I think it's SteveO.
See, it's tough. I was thinking that, except he won Nutball. So I felt like I couldn't do it, but I get that because he did have another no-show.
I was thinking of the porta potty thing and how I just wish he did something more with it. But you make a good point there. But hey, I've already said my piece, so go ahead.
You can't take it back.
I'm going with Kasich because he was a terrible cowboy.
Chris, stop it! What's happening? Why is everyone against me all of a sudden?
You fucking started getting mad when someone didn't agree with your stupid fucking views.
Because they should. They should agree.
It's Kasich, baby. LVP.
All right, fine. I had a lot of trouble with this one, but the more I think about it, the more it makes absolute sense. And this may just be my choice moving forward. LVP of this episode is Chris Aaronworth, my brother. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh boy, now it's personal.
Well, at least I made it to an episode. Haters haters are talking about you. That's a good thing, you know. Like or dislike, I'm still getting the fucking views, baby.
That is very much a you comment. I like it.
You know, you just put the spotlight on him more, really, by doing that, which is great. Because Chris, you know what time it is, my friend? Why don't you tell the people? Yeah, Jay's got a poop time. Why don't you tell the people where they can find us?
You can find us on Instagram at Jackass Pod, Twitter at
Jackass Pod.
Pod, yeah. Shit, I'm forgetting you. We're so goddamn good. We're almost Jackass people now. So it is what it is. Yeah, check us out. Rate, review. Don't be a fucking dick. Honestly, just fucking do it. If you don't do it, I mean, I'm not going to tell you to fuck off. Keep listening at least. But like, come on, man.
And also in anticipation of next week's episode, we're going to put some prompts up on Instagram to get some questions from you guys that we might be able to answer as well. Otherwise, email them, jackastpod@gmail.com.
Yes, sir. Well, I guess we can sign off now. Remember, find us there on our social media. Send us all of your money. We take e-transfer, Subway gift cards, and how about tokens from your local children's indoor playground game center. And hey, maybe next week we'll find out how many Chris can fit into his mouth. Until then, bye. I'm Jason Wellwood.
Bye, I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Bye, I'm Mikey Aaronworth. And this has been Jackast.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it!
This was a Press X for Sound audio production.